Good morning, my dear friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Medical Classes by Dr. Srinidhi Kumar Acharya. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also please give your valuable comments. You can also visit the playlist. In the playlist, I have provided almost all the topics in a very systematic order. You can make use of it. My dear friends, we have been discussing about holistic pediatric care since so many classes, and we have completed almost 11 to 12 parts of this particular topic. And today we will discuss how the pediatric holistic care can be taken. Care. And as I discussed already, instead of putting our effort to develop the holistic care after the birth, if you are so intelligent, we should start this effort in the fetal life itself. And that is one of the best way of inculcating the holistic properties in children if you intervene in the fetal period. Now, we have also described previously the story of Prahalada, so where the Prahalada has been nurtured in the ashrama of Narada Maharshi during his fetal period. In the sense, the mother of Prahalad, that is Kayadu, who is also the wife of Hiranyakashipu, who is actually from an Asura Prakriti or Tamo Prakriti or Asura Prakriti, with all the cruelty and all, and son of such a cruel person, Rakshasa, has been also get changed into a very holy and devotional person after the birth. The reason, if you find for this, during the intrauterine period, that is during the Garbhini Avastha of Kayadu, she has been nurtured, she has been given the samskara by the Rishi Ashrama, Narada's Rishi Ashrama. So that means the devotional things, philosophical things, religious things which she understood and she followed during her intrauterine period, that means during her Garbhini Avastha, in an ashrama, made changes in the Prahlada, and although he is from an Asura background, he is get converted into a very, very holy, pure, astika person with a great devotion on Vishnu. Now, how this transformation was made possible? So, that is indicating the importance of fetal intervention to develop the holistic properties in a child. Okay, so this being the basics, today onwards we will discuss some of the fetal intervention by which we can interfere or we can inculcate the holistic properties in a growing fetus right from the conception. Instead of trying too much after the birth, it is really intelligent, wise to put our efforts during the conception and after conception itself. So that's all about the fetal intervention to inculcate the pediatric holistic properties. So let us start with the discussion. Okay, in the beginning I want to give some of the basics. Now we know that it is very clear that the psychological development takes place with the interaction of the natural endowment and environmental factors. The physical property is something different, but when you talk about the psychological property, it has been a mixture or interaction between the natural endowment and the environmental factors. Natural endowment, which is already present in your genes, and when this particular natural endowment, that means your genetic trait or genetic expression, that has been get exposed to the environmental factors, then a new property emerges out of it, a new personality emerges out of it. What exactly told in Ayurveda is by using the word satmya. Okay, so satmya word many times we get in Ayurveda, and that satmya is not only satmya is related to your food habits. Satmya means it is your relationship, your genetic endowment or natural endowment versus the environmental factors. After birth, environmental factors may be family environment, social environment, school environment, whatever. Whereas when you talk about intrauterine environment, so that is totally the environment of the uterus, which is directly or indirectly related with the mother's food habits or mother's lifestyle or mother's philosophical health or mother's religious health or social health. That means for a growing fetus, the uterus and in and around the uterus itself is the environment, and that environment is under the direct intervention or direct influence of the mothers and mother's food habits and lifestyle, etc. So, this being the case, as for Ayurveda, every individual will have its own constitution setup. We know that, isn't it? Which is also called as Prakriti. Sometimes it is also called as Avyakta Prakriti. Prakriti means something which is a constitutional setup or genetic expression which is little bit developed, okay, or you can say differentiated. So when I say Avyakta Prakriti, it is the same genetic backup, genetic traits, but they are not still differentiated. It is present in the undifferentiated stage. So everybody will have this, which is the own constitutional setup, which is also called as Prakriti, or before differentiation it is called as Avyakta Prakriti. In general, it is also called as endowment. It is also called as endowment. Now, as per the theory of Ayurveda, the characters of the previous life, that means we believe in Punarjanma, and therefore the do's and don'ts which we did in the last life, previous life, that is the characters of the previous life, will be there in your endowment. Will be there in your endowment. Okay, so characters of the previous life, that is nothing but the concept of Punarjanma and concept of Atma entering into the new body with the previous deeds and all. So that will be there. So many times this will be evidenced. Suppose father is not expert in the music, the mother is not expert in the music, but the child is very much expert in the music. Sometimes mathematics, sometimes some of the arts, fine arts, painting, etc. So none of the parents are expert in this field, but even after that also, the child will be expert in that field. So what actually such incidents shows us that it was the deeds of the previous life of that particular Atma which has entered inside the body. Okay, that is the endowment of that particular Atma which is entered into that particular fetus or that particular boy or girl, showing that extraordinary talent. So same endowment can be also called as Avyakta Prakriti. And when you talk about Avyakta Prakriti, the immediate next presentation of the Avyakta Prakriti is nothing but Mahat Tattva. Okay, if you look into the Srishti Utpatti Krama, so immediate Avyakta Prakriti is there. The next presentation, manifestation of the Avyakta Prakriti itself is called as Mahat Tattva. Mahat Tattva. Now, this is the first factor which is produced in the creation. You look into the Srishti Utpatti Krama, there also this is the first factor which is produced. Even in the Utpatti of the fetus or a human being also, this Mahat Tattva, which is entirely a subjective phenomena. Okay, it's not an objective thing, subjective manifestation. So this is the first factor which is produced in creation of the man, or you can say embryo, during the reproduction. So endowment is nothing but Avyakta Prakriti. Its immediate next presentation, it's very difficult to differentiate it, which is Avyakta Prakriti, which is Mahat. The immediate next presentation is Mahat. Now this is very important. This Mahat, it contains so many inherited drives, isn't it? It's because endowment itself is a genetic backup. Okay, so now that contains so many genetic drives, inherited drives are there. So it's a big pool of inherited drives. So it contains certain inherited reservoirs of individualized but unorganized drives. Now that particular Mahat Tattva or that particular the endowment, so that contains so many inherited reserves are there. There are mixture of so many drives, inherited drives are there, but they are not organized. They're totally mixed up, okay, meshed up. It is not organized, right? And such drives, inherited drives, so they are called as Eid. Same has been referred as Ahankara in Ayurveda. In the present scenario, we used to call it as Eid, but thousands of years back, Ayurveda basically explained that. So these are the Ahankara. So Prakriti, Mahan, Ahankara. So these are the initial three steps in the development of the psychology of the growing fetus. As soon as the zygote formation takes place, conception takes place, so these things will be formed. So there will be mixing of the, what you say, the genetic materials, and then there is an expression which is called as Mahan. This Mahan is nothing but it is a pool of so many genetic inheritant expressions which are present in a very meshed manner or in an unorganized manner. So that is called as a Ahankara. So this is one part. Okay. So in the next class we will discuss about what is Eid and its interpretation. So that we will see in the next class. Thank you very much.